What's up, guys? I am having a pretty good day today. Because last video I told you guys I sold all of my Neo shares just like out of nowhere. I basically freaked out and panic sold technically. But it was off of good intuition because I discovered this head and shoulders technical signal not too long ago. It took some more consideration yesterday, and then in a split second I just was like, this is the time to sell. It was about $4.45. I literally saved over $10,000. As you can see, this MACD is crossing back over. I did mention that, like, this can do anything right now. It wasn't guaranteed that it was going to go up, and now it is confirming that it is going back down. So this is looking really sketchy. If you guys are still bulls, this is where the stop losses are going to be triggered. All right, a lot of bulls have stop losses here at the neckline. It is going to tank hard if it gets to that point. Now, according to this MACD, it's going to make another attempt to go past the zero line. It spent a good amount of time chilling above it. So in a statistic perspective, there is a high probability of it having a duration, a period where it's below the line. So that might be coming up if this technical analysis comes to fruition. I'm having a good day so far. Let's go and talk about Aurora Cannabis. So the inverse head and shoulders, I noticed this right here. This is the neckline, right? This is the head. This is the neckline right here. So over here on the left, it has a little miniature bump, and then it's got a larger little hump right here. Over here, it completed the larger hump. Now it is completing the little hump. I'm just telling you guys, this is how it works. In a buying and selling atmosphere, demand, supply, hype, volume, technical analysis, this is just what the psychology plays out. All right, this is psychologically humans buying and selling, and it creates a pattern to signal to us that it is reversing from a bearish trend to a bullish trend. And things like this, I really feel like they happen, and we're gonna see if it does happen in the next week or so. Don't take my videos as advice. This is just my opinion. We're definitely looking for it to stay above the zero line on the MACD. It spent a long time underneath it. Chances are it's time to chill above it. And what do you know? We have the technical reversal. It's about to enjoy being above the zero line. Is this a coincidence? I don't know. I really don't think so. And we're going to prove it with some technical analysis on the RSI. Just drawing a line here. What a perfect line to show the support on the RSI. This thing is ready to bounce any day now. Just judging by the RSI, it's going to make a next leg up towards the 80 line, where it hasn't been in so long because it's just been bearish the whole time. But thanks for this signal right here. We know something's brewing, and it's going to reach that 80 eventually. And I'll let you guys know when it does that, because I'll probably be pretty paid by then. Let's watch these videos real quick.
To meet new expectations of demand. What is going on?
So I'd love to, but let me take a step back and sort of give you a sense, you and your viewers, what we've actually announced. So, as the global cannabis leader, we've taken definitive action today. So important steps in positioning Aurora for long-term success. And what I mean by that is we've taken some concrete steps to strengthen our balance sheet. You saw a lot of that as we announced in terms of the early conversion of our convertible debenture. Obviously, and to your point about some capex spending, we've decided to put on hold two major projects that will save us $200 million. And that's important because we see an ability to be able to scale those projects up as we see global demand come on. So, but we're very well positioned based on our existing facilities to sort of meet our current needs. The other thing we're doing is, by virtue of our industry-leading gross margins, we're driving to near-term profitability. And so in this evolving market, those margins and our low cost of production at 85 cents a gram really positions us nicely to deliver near-term profitability, I think, quicker than any of our peers. And we continue to be incredibly focused on the U.S. market, and something we're aggressively pursuing with the help of Nelson Peltz.
This guy sounds super confident, bullish. I don't like... You just heard what he said, right? They're positioned better than anyone in their competition, all right? And I believe it. They say it themselves. This is the 20th century way to grow cannabis. It's super high tech. Their yields are 20 to 30% more than they expect. They know exactly what they're doing. And the confidence that Michael Singer is projecting, it's, you know, these articles, they're just there to scare you. You know, we have to listen to the people running the damn company.
I understand all that, and especially the long-term strategy. But when recreational's down 33 quarter on quarter, why is that?
So, great question, Carl. So we guided this back in our September sort of Q4 release. There were two key issues that needed to be resolved. One is there was a backlog of inventory within the provincial distribution centers, and that's cleaning its way out. So we knew that in Q1 we were going to see this sort of, if you want, slower ordering, if you want, from the provinces. And two, there's not enough retail outlets in Canada, and that's a common theme that we've heard from all of our peers. It's true. Even with our significant ranking in this country, where we're number 1 and number 2, in key markets like Ontario and Quebec, there are certainly not enough retail outlets. And so we're encouraged that that's moving in the right direction. And with the rollout of 2.0, this is a new market of derivative products that are coming out around the Christmas timeframe. We're very well prepared for that. We see that as a tremendous opportunity relative to our margins to really sort of capitalize on that opportunity and really help.
Of course, it's advantageous for their margins because derivatives are way higher in margin. Like the flower game, that's not where the money is. So 2.0, they get to inject literally like 10 different streams of income, guys. Obviously, I'm really bullish on Q1 of 2020. I think that the 2.0 release is going to add additional revenue to all of the MJ space. Canopy has been doing a really, really good job on getting into the CBD market. I'm going to touch on that a little later, but this guy is talking the truth. You know, Mike is saying we got way more ways to make money, and that's going to show very soon. This was not too long ago, November 15th.
Help grow our business into the 2020 calendar year.
Now, Michael, you mentioned the partnership with Nelson Peltz. It's about 6 months old now. How is that shaping up? And, you know, in terms of getting additional partnerships in the consumer world to strengthen your business?
So great question. Nelson continues to be very active with us and helping us in a number of discussions we have with these global CPG companies. It's actually all part of a U.S. strategy for us. We see the U.S. as an opportunity for us to use as a platform to really grow, not just in the U.S., but in this kind of the CPG world globally. And Nelson, with his connections and obviously his help in helping us sort of navigate through multiple discussions with multiple partners in different industry verticals, we're confident that when we do make an announcement about how we see and how we're going to enter the U.S. market, it's going to tie together the numerous discussions we have with Nelson's help with a lot of these sort of mature CPG companies and how we're going to be able to leverage that in different industry verticals going forward. So we're very excited.
You hear that, guys? Mature CPG companies, all right? He's talking about the big boys. Something big is going to happen in the near future. Nelson Peltz is involved. He's been saying this ever since March. We're going to touch on that video right after this one. So just remember that he's saying that Nelson Peltz is extremely active in working with his companies that he's vested in, all for the shareholders' best interest.
About an announcement when we're ready to do so.
How close are you in turning some of those discussions into actual announcements, though?
Look, we haven't provided any guidance, but because we're talking to numerous partners in different industry verticals, we want to make sure that when we do announce it, it is clear to the market where, you know, the direction we're going. And again, we're going to use the U.S. as an opportunity as a platform, if you want, for us to really sort of explore and continue to develop out these CPG opportunities on a global scale.
Yesterday we had the CEO of Canopy join us, expressing similar frustrations with the lack of growth in outlets that you just referred to. Same question I asked him, I'll ask you. How long is it going to take for the inventory that's already there to burn off? I'll say it again. How long will that take, in your opinion, given all the different things you're doing here to obviously try to maintain some margin? I would think the end demand, though, remains the key question.
So, great question. I think you've seen some of that backlog cleanup. You've seen the provinces return a significant amount of product to certain of the licensed producers. To date, Aurora has not had that experience that, so we're in a good position. We believe our products are in high demand, and so we don't expect that we're going to see the returns that our peers have seen. I think with 2.0 coming out, so this.
They're like, our stuff is so fire, no one would want to return that shit.
New derivative market coming out. We are, I believe, better prepared than any of our peers, and given our high margins and our low cost of production, I think we're in a unique, an exciting position to really capitalize on that going into calendar 2020. And I think with the right launch of those products that we're ready for, not just on the initial launch, but we're ready for follow-on orders. That's something we're going to very quickly be able to capitalize on, and that'll drive us to near-term profitability.
So you're not worried overall that your industry has overestimated the overall demand for cannabis in Canada?
It's a great question. I think we haven't taken our eye off the big picture. We see a huge, the long-term vision here hasn't changed. I think what you've seen is just kind of a short-term sort of, if you want, level setting. So no, and that's obviously why we've made the decision, if you want, to slow down two of our bigger projects and almost park those to a point at which we believe we'll see the global demand sort of pick up and be able to launch those. So. No, we're confident that the market is just sort of I think adjusting, if you want, to some of the issues that I just described in terms of the provincial sort of challenges, and that demand is there. I think it's just our job is going to be to effectively try to remove as much as we can from the unregulated market to the regulated market, and you're going to see a lot of that sort of happen with the launch of our 2.0 our Cannabis 2.0 products.
Finally, I wonder if you think the concerns this summer about cannabis vaping specifically have had a material effect on demand. Are we seeing that in sales of vaping derivatives?
Well, remember, in Canada, those vaping, the vape pens, the vaping products aren't coming out until Christmas. But what I can tell you is, different than what you see in the U.S., in Canada, we are not going to be able to have any additives or dilutives in those vape products, and so that's important. We're also working very closely with Health Canada to ensure that we meet or exceed those safety standards. So the products that we're going to be putting out are going to be safe and to ensure that our consumers are not in any way at risk. We also put out certificates of analysis, and that really does.
My thoughts are that vaping is actually very, very new in Canada. 2.0 just got released, all right? So a lot of Canadians are just getting into vaping. In America, people have been vaping it's been about 5 years where people are going to dispensaries and buying vapes that are $50 to $100. It's a huge high margin avenue for marijuana companies to go into because the derivatives, they can make it pretty strong, but the margin is just so high. And to make these things isn't that hard. You just get a syringe, as you're seeing in this video, and you squirt stuff into a container.
Help, I think, give confidence to the market that the products we're putting out are safe, free of contaminants, and I think gives consumers the comfort, I think, that they need to ensure that those products are going to be safe, that they buy off the shelf.
A billionaire.
This is from March 13th when Nelson Peltz got on. All right, so this is just to go over briefly that, we've got the ammo still. If you're getting in now, you got a pretty good price because this used to be $8 when they made the video. They were optimistic then, and you guys heard Michael Singer in the last video that he was pretty optimistic. So let's just listen to this video real quick.
Are we going to call him a hedge fund billionaire? We could call him an activist. We could call him a lot of things. Maybe a consumer expert even.
Nelson Peltz might call him something other than that, too.
That's true, too. Nelson Peltz is a strategic advisor. Take a look at shares of Aurora Cannabis right now. They are up 11% in the pre-market just this morning. Joining us now on the Squawk Newsline is Aurora Cannabis Executive Chairman Michael Singer. Thanks for joining us. Tell us about how this all came about with Nelson Peltz.
Well, we're very excited about this announcement this morning. This is a great endorsement for our company. We got connected or introduced to Nelson several months back and had a number of, face-to-face meetings with Nelson. And he may have a reputation as a hedge fund activist, but I can tell you our diligence and the numerous face-to-face meetings convinced us that Nelson is someone who proactively works with companies to maximize value for stakeholders. He does not have an antagonistic approach and collaborate closely with management and boards, and we're so excited to have Nelson join.
Let me ask you this: Nelson has long talked about how some of the big CPG companies, and it could be Pepsi, you could think of P&G, you could think of all the different Coke, all these types of companies. Is this a prelude, do you think, for some of the big CPG companies to ultimately buy a company like yours?
We don't see it that way, actually. We took a very differentiated approach to and wanted to proceed carefully, thoughtfully, and with a focused approach with regards to partnering. We've identified a model that potentially includes multiple partners, increasing the complexity of these discussions. So we felt it was important to leverage the expertise of a third party, Nelson in this case, who obviously comes with an incredible track record of successfully engaging with global companies.
Well, Michael, long term, when you look at the big CPG companies out there today, all of whom are struggling to find growth, all of whom want to reach a millennial audience, do you think if we're having this conversation in 3 years from now that one or more of them will have acquired or somehow jumped into the business that you are in?
I believe so, yes. I think that's a fair assumption that a number of these disruptive industries are starting to make a little noise, and soon a lot more noise about partnering with companies like Aurora.
In terms of the partnerships, Michael, what's the low-hanging fruit in your view at this point? Is it going into, for instance, beauty or food via partnership in consumer products because CBD is now legal?
Basically says that he wants to get into all that. She cuts him off over here, and there's some important stuff here.
Government is right. When we are permitted, we have a back-in right that allows us to take a more meaningful position in that company to operate in the U.S. At the same time, partnering with Nelson, we believe that will open up some U.S. opportunities for us that we are exploring today, and we hope to be able to.
What's top on your list in the U.S., Michael? A big multi-state operator. Just earlier this week, we're reporting on Harvest's big purchase of Verano, making it one of the biggest multi-state operators in the United States.
Yes, but again, we cannot at this time operate or explore U.S. opportunities with the idea of potentially closing a transaction. We are focused, obviously in Canada. We also operate in 5 continents, in 24 countries around the world. So we are expanding our medical business across Europe, and obviously we will.
They're expanding their medical business across the EU, across Europe. He just said that. And there are just so many opportunities there for medicinal marijuana, and the quality of marijuana they're growing, 7 award-winning strains type stuff. It's going to do amazing in Germany, and that's going to be a good initial reputation to spread all across the EU. So really excited about that. So what I picked up from that is that they're not even trying the United States right now, but Canopy, they're getting into a lot of CBD stuff, and CBD goes and correlates with THC so well. People, they take CBD gummies. I have a feeling that they're going to want to take THC gummies. They take CBD soft gels. I have a feeling when they decide to take some THC, they might want a soft gel or a dissolve strip because they do it with CBD. So Canopy being in the United States for CBD is a huge advantage they have, and I like the multiple streams of income. So something that Canopy is doing that Aurora isn't is that they're capitalizing on CBD so hard that they acquired BioSteel. they pretty much acquired them 73%, 72% stake. They're not a small company. They have endorsed a lot of high tier professional athletes. These are just some of them. You got football players, hockey players, golf, football, Cowboys, got the NBA. I looked at their products. Their products are pretty competitive. They got good prices on their products, is what I'm trying to say. First and Free is their CBD line for America, and this is for Canopy. So they've got plenty of streams of income in the United States. That's something that Aurora is not doing. But this article states that they are working with Pax Labs. Pax Labs is pretty popular in America, especially like the Pax eras in Las Vegas or Colorado. This is what's popping over there, and they're basically collaborating with them to get the Pax era technology. So they're going to have really detailed statistics and basically stuff that is going to comfort the user that this is like science and proven, and they're messing with Pax era technology, that it's 100%, 110% safe and nothing like those crazy US articles. But Canopy basically bought BioSteel, and guess what they're putting in it? They're putting in CBD. So a lot of athletes, MMA, football, this is not like, oh, they get sore, they'll drink the supplement and it'll just help soreness. A lot of these athletes, they get hurt so bad and they actually might have to have surgery, and they take painkillers. You've probably heard of those stories where they get addicted to Oxycontin after they got injured playing some basketball stuff. But that's basically what happened. So there's a Harvard study that proves CBD is useful, and one of the things is they're just trying to use a natural alternative to substitute for painkillers. So CBD is a great thing for the athletes. People are aware of the painkiller, I guess, abuse in the athlete world. So CBD is a great natural avenue for them to do that. You might have to drink like 5 to 10 drinks because these painkillers are super strong, and I don't think CBD is that effective. But this is just another way that CGC gets into the market. And when THC drinks come along and they put it in their BioSteel private reserve section, and it's actual THC with a CBD blend that's super nice and keeps you nice and relaxed and gives you deep sleep for amazing recovery, and you wake up feeling amazing, this is going to hit big, and the transition isn't going to be hard whatsoever. So that's what I like about CGC. That's what they're doing that Aurora's not doing. But Aurora is definitely capitalizing on the EU, as you heard Michael Singer say. All right, AMD, let's look at this stuff real quick. So I noticed something very bullish about it. So right here where it goes above the median line in this RSI technical analysis, whenever it does that, it kind of has a bullish pattern. As you can see here, it went above it, tested it again, and then boom, all the way bullish to the resistance. Over here, went over a little bit, tested it, faked people out, and then boom, went to the resistance and then dropped. So this was when it ramped up a ton. I'm sure it was a lot over here. We just have to zoom in. And then now we're seeing the same thing. Went over the top over here, the fake out, and I think it's going to be really bullish. I think it's going to tank, obviously, from my past videos. But I'm just saying it's looking pretty good. I'm not biased. If I see the technical analysis, I'm going to call it out. Yeah, things are looking pretty good. You got the crossover. This is the 4-hour. But if you zoom out and you look at the weekly, I really don't like this U-turn it's pulling right here. It's looking kind of sketchy. and it does have the ability to crack through all these technicals and just attempt the lower Bollinger Band like it did in the past for that 50% drop. Just brutal. But yeah, guys, I'm excited to see what happens with NIO. You know, the Head and Shoulders is nothing to mess with. Like, look at this Head and Shoulders right here. They got the slanted neckline. I kind of like the straight neckline a little better. You know, it's just kind of like a rough estimate. It's still a Head and Shoulders, but, you know, you can use both. And you can have multiple points of, you know, where you need to be aware of. But check it, guys. Neo, look at this. This is not the most perfect Head and Shoulder, but it's looking a lot like this example, isn't it? Isn't it? It's not looking good. And that's why I'm out. This is the inverse Head and Shoulder, looking like CGC and ACB. These have been pretty on point lately, so I'm feeling pretty confident, especially when you do the research and back up with the due diligence, you know. Anyways, guys, good luck on your trades. Hoping for this next little hump to be completed, and so we can see some green dollars in the future. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Appreciate the likes. It helps my channel grow a lot faster. And drop a comment. I want to know what you guys think, what you guys are expecting tomorrow or next week, or if you're bearish or bullish on anything. And I will see you guys next video. Peace out.